And we're right back at it in detoxification. Just kind of finished up talking about the colon in the end of that last video there when it comes to detoxification. There are other organs that also need to be detoxified as well, specifically things like the liver and so on and so forth. I have been specifically asked to share my story in this detox video and what detoxification has meant to me and healing. So with that being said, in the first video, just kind of giving you a general detox, information about pH and cleaning the major colon of the body. We're going to get into all the individual organs in all these videos, how to detox the liver, how to detox the gallbladder, how to start with the colon, why you want to do all of these, and why your body is actually not doing these things for you. But my story, most people call a miracle. And to me, it's everyday life. I live it and I love it. And but for those of us who are still out in the world unsure of what it is that we need to do to take care of ourselves, and for those of us who are still suffering, this can give them hope. So I have been taking care of myself and my family in a very different manner than I was raised for about 9 years now. So to go back to 2010, I was 28 years old and I had 2 children at the time, a girl and a boy, 7 and 2. So in this year of 2010, we were all suffering. We were suffering just like the rest of you. We were suffering from allergies, chronic colds, chronic sinus infections. We had antibiotic usage regularly throughout the year, ear infections. To get a little more specific, my eldest daughter had chronic sinusitis and was on antibiotics at one point for 70 days to have an adenoid removal, which caused her bowel problems. So then we started seeing a GI and we're running all these dye tests because she can't poop and she's chronically throwing up, which is due to the antibiotics. Then she had severe ADHD. She was on a 504. I had, against my soul core purpose, I did put her on ADHD medicine in her first year of school because she could not control herself enough to even be in the class. She was in trouble all the time, and I actually felt, as a mother, I felt bad. I didn't want her to be in trouble. She's not a bad kid. She just was impulsive and was getting in trouble for that impulsivity. Then we go to my then baby, and there's a lot that I didn't know then as a military child who grew up being proud to be the first in line for my vaccines and shots as we traveled the world. Did not understand it, anything about the medical system or antibiotic usage. I vaccinated all my kids. We went for antibiotics when we were sick. We relied on the doctor to help us. And at 2 years old, my youngest was diagnosed with autism. I knew that was going to be the diagnosis prior to the diagnosis happening, because at about 14 months, my son changed. He became chronically ill. He became chronically diuretic, meaning not diuretic like in the blood, but diarrhea all the time. He started to smell sour, as if he was dying behind his ears and his toes. Wherever you smelled him, he smelled awful. He lost his ability to keep eye contact with me. He lost his ability to babble. He lost every ability he had to play with a toy. He regressed immediately. At this point in time, I had no clue what was going on. I just started picking up books, and I knew that his diagnosis would be autism. He then also had allergies and sickness-induced asthma, and then leaky gut syndrome. I, in 2010, was 28 years old with my 2 beautiful children who were unfortunately very sick, and I was very sick. I was 65 pounds heavier than I am now, so that put me at about 225. I had high blood pressure. I had eczema. I had allergies. I was on antibiotics every year. I had walking pneumonia and bronchitis pretty much every fall. I had vertigo. I had a thyroid problem. I had female problems as far as period cycles and bleeding that most of us suffer from. I had a fatty liver. I had precancerous polyps in my colon. I had 3 of them removed at 28 and was put on a 3-year colon cancer watch, which my doctor said, stop eating McDonald's and drinking soda or you're going to die at 30. And I said, well, there has to be another answer because I don't do either of those things. So as sick as I was, I did not eat McDonald's and I did not drink soda back then. So I had a list of other, there is probably things that, depression, anxiety, stress, feet swelling, my feet would burn in the sun. I mean, I could go on with all the physical symptoms that I had as a human being that I was sick with. So I was fortunate enough in 2010 to find a job at an organic wellness center where I originally was hired for aesthetics work. And my boss would always say to me, do you know how much sugar you're consuming? And me in my ignorance said, I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a coffee. It's just this. It's just a granola bar. And she would say, well, it's just your weight. It's just your headaches. It's just your vertigo. And she wasn't being rude and she didn't have that kind of attitude. But in layman's terms, that's kind of what she was saying. And in once again, my ignorance, I just ignored her. I didn't hear it. I didn't believe it. Like, how could everything that's around us be what's wrong with me? Because everybody else can have coffee and not be sick and dying, and everybody else can eat this food and not be sick and dying. And oh, I had heartburn. That was another thing that was very important to my healing journey, is I had heartburn for 10 years and was on Zantac 150 for 10 whole years, even through my pregnancy with my second child who had autism. And the fact that I'm announcing that now will come into correlation in future videos. Needless to say, it is 2019 going on 2020, and every single one of those ailments that I have listed to you that we have been prescribed medicine for by the doctors and sent from doctor to doctor to and told that I would just be this or they would be these sick people is gone. Gone. Everything. The reason I am here doing what I do is because I think everybody deserves the chance and the education and the ability to acquire the same health and happiness in their home that I have acquired in mine. To this day, we are almost 7 years antibiotic and doctor-free. We do not have any diagnosis or any condition that would require a doctor. Now, a broken limb at some point may, but we do not get sick. The last time I have had anything that was considered even close to an infection in my sinuses or something like that was when I was detoxing in 2010, 2011, and 2012, and I did have to go through those infections without the antibiotics because that's how you heal your body. The body heals itself. Antibiotics prevent that healing, unfortunately. So but since I have detoxed and since I have cleaned my organs, repaired the damage in my organs, my body knows how to not be sick. And that's not a fair way to say it, but that's kind of the gist of it. I will be turning these videos into classes. I will be educating those who are interested in being educated. I understand there's a lot of controversy out there and that a lot of people don't really have the open mind to believing that the earth can provide your healing for you through your food and nutrition. But I am living in actual proof, and so are my children, that that is exactly how it works. That is exactly how the body works, and that is exactly how healing works. And we do healing, and we start healing through detoxification. We have to purge the body of the things that are making us sick and put the things in the body that don't make us sick. And to know what those things are, we have to become educated on that. I'm going to do my best to spread this education around the world, but we're going to start right here on YouTube. and then get it moving, and then into some classes into the spa and stuff, hopefully before the first of the year. I wish healing for everyone. I think that all of us who are sick don't want to be sick. And I think that if most of us are presented with alternatives to surgery, to a prescription for the rest of your life that doesn't actually cure what you have going on, it just subsides your condition, giving you another condition. If we have this information, if it's more easily available to us, then I think that a lot of us would be interested in making different choices. I do want to say this about detoxification. I hear all the time, it's hard. It's hard, Shannon. How do you not eat ice cream? You know how I don't eat ice cream? Because I'm not sick. Flat out. I don't miss ice cream. I don't miss cake. I don't miss anything that used to Panera. I don't miss any these things that I used to consume as food. You don't miss them. You want to know why you don't miss them? Because your health and the things that you can do every single day that you couldn't do before, it's worth it. There is no, I was missing before. I was missing time with my children. I was missing time in my life. I was missing time at work. I was missing time being a healthy human being. I was missing everything before. And now I have gained all of life back. So I encourage everyone to at least explore the options and the idea that your healing and your health does not always have to come from a doctor's office, and that you yourself can use knowledge and modalities in your home and with your families and with your children to detoxify your families and your bodies and your lives and your hearts and your mind. You would be surprised at actually how easy it is to remove some of these regular, common ailments and illnesses from our bodies with just a little bit of the right education and a little bit of work. So from here on out, we're going to go into it. We're going to go into detoxification into each individual organ. I'm going to go into detoxification for each individual disease or illness, because each individual disease or illness does have sort of different categories, but the root cause of all of it comes down to our pH balance that I mentioned in that first video. The root cause of it comes down to our lymphatic system and our colon not being able to function properly. So we start there and we build. And we build the proper immune system and the proper functions inside the body. And we do that through nutrition. And we do that through food. And we do that through modalities that allow our body to eliminate toxins. So I look forward to working with everyone. And I look forward to the next step in journey and classes, teaching classes one-on-one and doing consulting and this kind of stuff. And just really getting people healthy, because I think we all want to be healthy, and there is room for that here. Have a great Monday, guys.